Good morning. It's Sunday morning. I just released a video on making this new drill press table that replaces the old drill press table, which is very much the same, except this one has one thing in particular taken away, which is the insert in the middle, which I never changed, which is a bad idea. I've convinced myself of that. And also, I improved the fence, and I drilled a couple of holes here. I don't know how much I'm going to use those holes, but they're there if I need them, and they don't interfere with anything. I mean, there'll be people saying, well, there'll be dust falling down for the holes. This is a messy area anyway, right? There's ways you have to look at some tools. I don't see dust collection happening around this tool. What I see happening around this tool is you use it and then you sweep up the dust that's created. Now, on mine down here, before I get into that though, I want to talk about the fence. The fence is the biggest improvement. It's longer to match the table. The table's a little bit longer, 4 inches actually. And the fence has these integrated, T-slots for this simple stop block system. That's very similar to the one that's on my mini table saw sled, and it uses these very easy to get toilet bolts. You can also get these, you can get T-track bolts that are actually a little bit better than these, but these do exactly the same thing, right? Just slide it over and position the fence and use it. Yes? However, I don't use the fence that often. Right? Most of the time the fence is not on here. And that brings me to the design of the drill press cabinet behind me. This was designed to hold the drill press fence on the inside. Of course, this one no longer fits, and I never did find that convenient, like a convenient place to put it, because you have to open it up. You know, whenever you have to open the door on something to put something away, you wind up just setting it down somewhere. A more practical location for the storage of this fence would be right on the side of the drill press cabinet, where these handy sanding files are currently. Right? So, fence is improved. Table overall, I think, is improved. It's bigger. Like I had support for most things, but if you have something longer, you really need a bigger table to support it. And then the holes. So I was going to talk about the base down here, and I'm going to put a picture on the screen of what the base looks like after a drilling session. And the biggest issue is that chips get down underneath and all that. You know, it's not a big deal. People like to have their shops like spick and span, some people. Some people just, you know, there's 4 inches of sawdust, and I used to be like that. But I'm thinking that I could make a cover for this. What you see down here is my leveling base that I made a long time ago, and it's been on the drill press ever since, and it's been amazing. What it did was it lifted the drill press up to a more comfortable height for me. I'm just under 6 feet tall, so I find this height to be better instead of the 3 inches, almost 4 inches lower that it was. It also allows you to level the thing, and not so that it's perfectly level, just that it's sitting properly on the floor. Like you can see that the feet are further out away from the thing. That provides more, like a better stable base for it without bolting it down to the floor. Because ideally these things are bolted down to the floor. Right? So we don't do that because we want to move it every once in a while, right? So I was thinking about making a cover down there to cover it up. Because I got to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be making that freestanding drill press table that I was talking about before. I think that it overall is too complex, and the applications for it are a little bit too obscure to put that much time into. Instead, I'm going to work with what I have here and try to improve it. Starting with the base down there. My only concern is that my feet will kick into the base, so I'll have to try to like make it a form-fitting type thing, so it kind of goes around the whole thing, almost like triangular shaped, right? So I can stand up here and, you know, I'm not kicking it, right, too much. and it'll just lift off, right? So if I need to do something, which I never will, I'll just be able to lift it off. Take a couple screws out of the back and just lift it off. I want to talk briefly about two projects that I made for outside the shop, in the house actually, that I use regularly, that I've used regularly since I built them. The first is the precision cheese slicer is what I call it. And I use this every time I want to make, cut cheese for a sandwich or whatever. When I need to slice up cheese, this is what I use every time. I thought that, this would be a good novelty project. It never did well. The video didn't do that well. But I ended up using it quite a lot. And one of the questions I got from people was, how do you clean it? Well, you clean it simple. All right, you use it, and then you take a paper towel, dry paper towel, doesn't have to be wet, and you wipe off the blade, like that. You wipe the cheese off the blade, and you take it, and you wipe the area where the cheese was, right there. And it's clean. It's clean enough. Okay? The other one was controversial, was the knife sharpener that I made from saw blade, carbide teeth. You might remember this. This was a long time ago I made this. And I use this just about every week. And I use it on the knife that I put the new handle on. Here's that. You might remember that. Now, this is a knife that has a long history for me. I've had it for a very long time. I mean, I'm talking like 84 about this knife. All right, it's still going. And you can see how much blade it has left. This is the one that I also tuned up the blade because it was really worn. All right, I did that on my belt grinder. Anyway, the way I use this, it's not like I did in the video. What I wanted to do in the video was to show that the thing actually cuts metal. So I was being very aggressive with it. The way I use it is I set it down at the corner on the counter, I lay the knife in a groove, and I just stroke it back very gently. I do that 2 or 3 times, and that takes away the material, a very small amount, to get the edge back, okay? And then to make it, to bring it the rest of the way, I have a sharpening steel here. This is a cheap one that I had from another knife set, and I give it a couple strokes this way, that way, this way, that way. You see Gordon Ramsay doing this bullshit here with the knives flying and all that. Don't ever do that. Take the knife, look, towards you a couple of strokes, away from you a couple of strokes. I'm going to rotate the steel every once in a while so you have a fresh edge. Not that these things wear out. And you have an edge that is like you're slicing tomatoes paper thin with, okay? Shaving sharp. Yeah, last thing to talk about, because it's, what's going on in everybody's lives these days, is the virus and the response to it. And I don't know how bad the virus is going to get. I know that I'm at greater risk because I have asthma. I smoked for 25 years. I was working in construction and breathing in all kinds of bad stuff. My lungs are not in great shape. So like I said it before, it's the economy that's going to be the biggest hit for most people, because this has never been done before. The worldwide economy has never been shut down, stopped on a dime, and then the expectation is that it will start up again at some point in the future. Nobody can say how this is going to play out, how bad this is going to get. And okay, there'll be people saying, well, what's worse than being broke or, being homeless is being dead. But you know what? There's going to be a lot more people that are broke or homeless, Or I'm thinking about small business in particular, because, small business is 50% of the GDP. And I don't hear any kind of package or, stimulus package or bailout money for small business. They're all going to go broke because small businesses operate on really tight margins to begin with. They don't have any, money to throw away. They don't have enough savings usually to tide over. If I was back doing the doors and hardware, I'd be sweating now, because I know that my business would be gone. And I would be like shit out of luck because you're self-employed. You're not going to get unemployment insurance unless they make some changes to the rules to do that. In the meantime, you're losing everything else. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know how bad it's going to be eventually, but I have to still believe that it's going to be like the worst hit is going to be to the economy itself. That it will take a very long time before we come through this. With that said, I hope that everyone watching this is healthy and you're, staying safe, but you're not, being unreasonably crazy about it. I mean, most people that get this thing are going to be just fine. They'll have a bad flu symptoms for a few days. If you're a person like me that has lung problems, you're going to be worse off. So it's really a good idea for you to be more careful. And then, does this go away after this, outbreak subsides? Does it go away? People say no. It's with us forever. So I'm going to have to be careful about not getting this forevermore. Hopefully a vaccine is developed and hopefully I take the time to go get it when it's available, because I think that dying from that would probably suck.
About the hole at the center of this donut. And what you and Harlan did that fateful night seems at first glance to fill that hole perfectly. A donut hole in a donut's hole. It is not a donut hole, but a smaller donut with its own hole. And our donut is not a hole at all.